Hi everyone, it's Deniz Yusuf here from Inspired Growth Training, and we are here with Kelly and the young Kelly, we should say, and this is the BDM Coach Podcast show. And Kelly, I'm really excited to have you on board with us today, as I am with everyone that comes onto the BDM Coach Podcast. But you've been around our circles quite some time now. Everyone knows who you are. Your social media is ablaze. So thank you for coming on board with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's kind of like a bit of a full circle moment. I kind of listened to these podcasts to get started myself. So I'm pretty excited to be here.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So, and it is true because you even shared something that hit me in the heart at our lead machine event that we did in Brisbane. I actually had someone drag me out. You need to listen to what you're saying. Like, okay. So we'll share that a little bit later. But before we get started, it's really important for the listeners to know this is one of the most important questions. So I hope you're prepared. Is it coffee or tea?
It's coffee. 100% it's coffee. No tea. No tea.
So I knew that. So I'm just letting everyone know, reminding them about the importance of coffee throughout the day. As I just finished my second second shot, espresso. But thank you for that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who's Kelly? Who are you working for? Where are you?
Yeah. So I'm Kelly. I am the director of Hunter Property Management. So we're a property management only company located in the Hunter Valley. We service clients also on a referral basis these days. So we have very strong connections. And if they have a referral for us in Newcastle, Lake Macquarie, or the Hunter, we'll generally service it if it comes from the right people. And we've been in business for about 18 months now. 2 years will be the coming April.
Wow. So just for the listeners overseas, we've got a lot of American, UK, we've got New Zealand. Whereabouts are you positioned in the map of Australia?
Oh, near Sydney. A couple of hours from Sydney. Everyone knows where Sydney is. I would say 3 hours inland.
Yeah.
In the wine region.
Right now I'm the opposite. I'm the south of Sydney. I'm staying on the farm at the moment, and you're north of Sydney, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Which is cool. Awesome. So why real estate? You are young. You're young, but what got you into real estate?
I worked for this clothing company, and I won't say who it was, but they went under. They were very popular for teenagers, early 20s, and the clothing store went under. And so what I did was applied for literally 120 jobs. And I remember sitting in the toilet cubicle at Westfield, taking this phone call because I had a missed call, and it was a principal of a real estate agency who asked me to come in for an interview. And I went in and I got it, and that's how it started. Like everyone, I think we would just fall into real estate.
Yes, it does happen. So I do have to have a question. You don't have to mention the name. It was a franchise? You're not the reason of bad sales why this business...
Oh, no, nationally, they went under.
Okay,
not just cool. Me.
Just clarify.
No, nationally, they went under. Yeah.
We don't want people losing credibility in how
No, it was really bad. He skipped countries, the owner, and super wasn't paid, and it was a very fast decline. Yeah.
There you go. So what was your position when you started in real estate?
I was sales admin and reception, and I very quickly became the receptionist of 3 offices. So I would have the headset on with the mic, and I was just on the phone all day long, and then assisting the sales agents of those 3 offices as well.
How did you fall into real estate? Where's the... so I understand, obviously I've been training for over 11 years now, and a lot of people were at reception, and they're the person that's thrown in to replace the property manager that's quit, right? It's the segue in. But sales assistant reception, right? That's a completely different area. So
I think what happened was like that agency used to get a lot of really negative calls, which I was on the brunt of. And I remember turning to the department manager at the time of the property management department, because, the sales agents are always out and the property management's always in. Not always, but a lot of the time in. And I remember turning to her and being like, is this normal? Like, is this just how this industry is? Or like, is that just like a here thing? And it was a bit of an epiphany for me to realize like it was just that particular place. So then I just kind of got on Seek and looked what else was around and found a property management role in Newcastle for a small portfolio. And they agreed to take me on. And I just started managing the portfolio. It wasn't small, it was 200 properties. I just went straight into it, just like, yeah.
So you had no training?
No. I started like kind of helping property management in the first role I was in here and there. But no, they just chucked me in the deep end.
Okay, so thrown into the deep end, but now you're a business owner of your own. So where's the segue there? Because most people that go into property management from a sales position, they're like, nah, get me out of here. But you're taking that's a different approach. You're like, no, I'm going to own my own business now.
Yeah. So what happened was, I always tell people it's very easy to find a bad person to work for in real estate. And so I had a couple of like roles throughout different companies over the years. So I've worked for my like fair share of like different roles and structures and stuff like that. But basically I found a really fabulous place to work at in the end. I was there for 5 years and then I fell pregnant with my son. And I loved working there, but it was way too far away from where our family was about to be established at the time and where our home was. So I went on maternity leave, had 12 months off. And that's when I started getting into the podcasts and stuff. And I decided when my son was about 11 months old that I would start looking to go back to work. I took a part-time role, and then I kept up with the podcasts and stuff and started implementing things, created an Instagram, and I just wasn't exactly sure where it was going to take me. My mindset was kind of, I'm either going to hit the ground running and really make this an actual career, not a job for myself. That's something really quite fulfilling, or I'm going to get out of the industry altogether. And then my time throughout that part-time role just kind of really showed me that I was like quite good at marketing and branding, and I really enjoyed new business. And I was only working 3 days a week when I decided to open my business. And I think I just saw the value that people were seeing in me. And I suppose I don't think I was really being taken quite seriously where I was. So I was like, if I'm not going to be taken seriously, I'll just like take these opportunities and run with them for my own business.
Wow. I mean, yes, you're ticking a lot of things. I've got so many questions just from listening.
Hang on, Alex is coming through the door.
That's totally fine. I'm sure people are going to be happy to listen to Alex if you want to.
It's okay. You can come. He can chop. Yeah.
Come and say hello, Alex.
Just at the screen door. I was like, oh no, hang on. You can't see him. Hang on. Sorry.
It's okay. I've actually just got a text message from my brother saying the camera guy's coming to fix the security on the house.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Hey, Alex.
See him?
I can see a blurred Alex. So you look a bit like Freddy Krueger at the moment.
There.
No, I'm still
no. There
you go.
Awesome.
You're going to have to bop away somewhere. You're going to have to bop away somewhere where you're not making noise. Oh, okay. All right. There you go.
Lucky the
it's just picking something up.
That's cool. The podcast isn't about relationships, so it doesn't matter if he's listening. It's okay. Right. We've already.
No, I just heard the front door start creaking, and I was like, I better just tell you now. He's just grabbing something.
That's cool. So I've got so many questions that I could be asking from that. Yeah. So you started listening to podcasts about setting up your own business prior to while you were working for someone? Or
yeah, I think it was more so like the BDM podcast and like all of the ones that you as IGT produce, and just listening to different things like that. And even if it was like improving workflow in the office for myself, or if it was like bringing in new business for like the business I was working for, kind of more stuff like that, not necessarily starting my own business. But I think when I started to kind of gain some strategic alliances that the company I was working for wasn't really interested in, and I really saw the power and the value in those relationships, that was when I was like, well, I've got an opportunity here to upkeep these relationships. They'd built them with me directly. And they kind of did say to me, hey, like if you choose to like, you know, move on, our relationship is with you. So
Okay. It sounds like your passion had to catch up with you.
it did, yeah.
You know, so normally my quote's the other way around, like your
Yeah.
passion is waiting for you to catch up.
Yeah.
But it's the other way around in your
Yeah.
situation. So, but why were you? How did you find the IGT podcast? What was that drew you to listen to our podcasts?
I don't actually know. I think I just typed like property management or something into Spotify.
Okay.
Like from memory, I can't really think of what it was. And then the first thing I did was like get the books. And then obviously, like if I was working 3 days a week and if I brought in like one management, I would get like a commission for that. So it was actually then also quite an easy way for me to work 3 days a week, earn like a commission from bringing in the property. And then that's a really healthy wage for working 3 days a week.
Sure. So your training was buying our books and listening to our podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is remarkable. I know that the content that we do produce is good, but it's encouraging from a coach's point of view that you are obviously that you've taken the step, because like I said earlier, your courage, your passion, all of that, you know, it had to catch up to you. You were already thinking ahead. So, you know, well done on that. And I think that's brilliant. But it comes with challenges, right? So you've got your own business, you've set it up, and yes, your you know, your marketing's great. You're a natural BDM, the business owner, and your marketing looks really good. I love your colors and stuff like that. So well done. But what challenges are you facing at the moment? What challenges in business?
Yeah, I think it's like a big mindset thing. I think, you know, it's business and personal, but like I think you hear everybody say it, like the first 100 properties is like a lot easier than the next 100, and like I think that's so true. So we're at 135 at the moment, which I'm still quite happy with, given like I had to kind of shift my focus from growth for a while, like for the last 6 months. So yeah, I think just kind of getting in the mindset of like, all right, what do I need to do now? I've kind of like done, you know, getting into BNI and setting up these relationships, but it's now a new stage of, you know, where can I find new strategic alliances? How can I continue to utilize the ones that I do have and, you know, steer those in a way of growth? And, you know, I think thinking outside of the box on what else can be done, because I think when you're in an area where as well, not the standard wasn't like too high, and then I feel like I kind of upped the bar and everybody met me. And then, you know, not just myself, but me and a couple of other agents, you know, we up the bar again, and then everybody raises the bar, which is great, because I love seeing how the property management in my area is evolving. And I think the bar did need to be raised. It just helps. The challenge is now continuing to think outside of the box and keep innovating and, you know, having that point of difference.
I'm going to take it back a little bit. Okay. You've answered my next question already. That's great. I'm going to go back. No, do not be sorry, because it's very, very easy to listen to.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the challenges.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't have to dig in on the actual, you know, your personal situation, but amazing for growing 135 properties in, you know, like you pretty well did that in just over 12 months from zero.
Yeah.
Okay. From zero. So yes, there's been, you know, and you and I had the discussions, Deniz, I can't do growth, right? And we even had that discussion before our big event, but you coming to our event wasn't about learning new strategies, but it was about connecting with the people.
Yeah, that's right.
Coming together, networking with the people. And you brought up the networking, because, networking for a business, you brought up strategic alliances as well. Relationships are built over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Relationships
Absolutely.
are built over time, and you get the reward later.
Yeah.
And you've done that by doing the podcasts, the books, going into the business. You hook straight into doing the networking through the BNIs, working
Yeah.
on your strategic alliances. You also already spoke about referral partners within your business. So that's all about building networks.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people in business or BDMs, Kelly, so I'm giving you a big pat on the back here. They're after instant gratification. They only want to chase the leads that are coming in the door now.
Yeah.
Sadly, if you're not going to do the networking, the relationship building, those warm leads aren't going to come in. So this is taking me to a question. How many times are people asking you for a discount? Because if you're working on these relationships, yes, I'm not talking about those people that just ask out of habit.
Yeah.
I'm actually talking about those people that say, no, you're too expensive. Because you're working on solid leads here. You're working on building relationships that give you warm leads. There's trust established.
Yeah, it's so funny because I do have a really diverse range of alliances or referral partners, whatever you want to call them. And it does take time. And I think something I always say is what you're doing now will come to fruition in 3 months' time. So you have to keep doing now to have something in 3 months' time. But not to get distracted from your actual question, I think that, sorry, I've lost it.
You're doing well.
What did you say?
So
don't get distracted, and then I got distracted.
No, I asked, out of all of the relationships that you're building, you're bringing in those warm leads. You're becoming that attraction agent. Yes.
Sorry. I find that when they're coming straight from those relationships I've already built, I don't have the question. When I started, I expected, because I hadn't done any BDM before, and my natural thought process was, I'm going to go in and I'm going to have to talk about fees. And so that's what I went in. I went in and I talked about fees. And now I don't go in and talk about fees because I'm not selling you just fees. I'm selling you a service. And so I go in and talk about the service. However, when they're coming from those strategic alliances or those referral partners, whatever you want to call them, they don't even ask about my fees. They ask just for an agreement, because the person they've come from, they have this great relationship with them and they trust them. So if they send them to me, they're so confident in that person that they're confident in me. They don't ask because they already know that that's coming from somebody safe. And I think that's also the beauty of making sure you're making the right connections. Not every connection is going to be the right connection for you. And so, there's people I thought were going to be a good fit, and the more I got to know them, it just wasn't. And, I moved on and upwards. But yet all of the people I work with, I'm very happy to say that they come to me and they don't ask questions. They just ask for an agreement. And it's very, very easy, and it's very peaceful.
It is. I love it. Look, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
It's not a Deniz Yusuf quote. It's a quote that I've actually got in my PM Lead Secrets book. But it is a famous quote, but it's so important, and you have just shown that, and you do prove it. Look, I had probably 1 in 10 people that asked me for a discount, and they're the ones that don't know who you are. You're not doing cold calling. You're actually building your network to build your worth, and that is so valuable. Now, you were talking about when you're selling your services to those people that don't know who you are, right? You're talking about your services. Can you dig in a little bit so people that are listening, they're going, oh, but what services? Because everyone says they're a boutique agency. Okay, you are a boutique agency, but
I don't say that though.
I know, but you are. In my eyes, my understanding of what a boutique agency is, you have got that type of a business.
Yeah.
Can I just clarify? You can have 5,000 properties and you're a boutique agency. Boutique doesn't mean small.
No.
Okay.
I just know that's a point of difference that people like to say, but it's not really something I've ever like resonated with. I think going into like and I'm sure this is the same for all agencies, but like I from the beginning was like, if I'm going to go in and compete with very well established brands, like my branding had to be on point. Like I needed to just come in and it needed to look well established, and people needed to recognize my branding at a glimpse. And like I worked very hard on doing that.
Service. No, that's good because the branding's really important. It's on point, your marketing's on point, but those new people that are coming in that don't know you, that don't trust you, what's an example of service that you're providing for them that they go, oh wow, like this girl's good.
I just kind of ask them like, what's their situation? Are they a seasoned investor, or are they new investor, or are they moving out of their family home? The approach of what services I like kind of sell to them are different depending on where they come from. You got to talk to your audience, obviously. So it depends who it is, but a lot of my stuff is like new investors, or like they've invested before but not in our area, and it's new builds. So I think for them, they really want to preserve the quality of their property. So what I would go in and sell to them is that we do offer a premium marketing package with either box brownie photos, professional photos, 360 camera, and a video tour. And we also offer 3 inspections in the first week at a minimum. So we're getting as many eyes and as many people through the door as possible to minimize their vacancy and minimize their loss. And then from there, I'm telling them that we're using the 360 camera not only for their marketing, but we're doing it for their ingoing, their routines, and their outgoing as well. And that's all going to make sure that their property is protected, because you don't miss an inch of the property with those cameras and all the added features that software provides. So that's a way that we can give them peace of mind to ensure that their asset is protected. There's what we can control and what we can't control. And I can't control if a tenant's going to have a slip up or a mental health breakdown or lose their job, something like that. But what you can control is that you've got the tools in place to protect the investment. And that's kind of generally where I would start before I kind of ask them their concerns and then, address their concerns from there.
That's awesome. So straight up, you're identifying who your client is, because there's 2 types of landlords. The reluctant landlord, so it's a person who's moved out of a home, they've inherited something, they're throwing a tenant in, they've got no idea. And then you've got your landlord, they're an investor. They know what they're doing. They don't have as much emotion that's attached to it. You're then highlighting 360 video tours. You talked about box brownies, so you can enhance photos. You've got the professional photography, you've got the social media marketing that you do as well, and you're utilizing reels, TikToks, the lot. So you're showcasing them having as many eyes on the door as you can on their property 3 times. There's some amazing points of differences all there that even you just asking what type of a client that you're dealing with, a lot of property managers and business owners forget that one simple question. So a massive congratulations for that. I think that is awesome.
I think you've got to know what their goals are, because if you don't know what they want to do with the property, how do you know what you're meant to be doing with the property? Like, you've just got to kind of ask some questions and then, use their answers to then fuel the rest of the conversation.
Yeah. So I'm going to dig in here. Yeah. What's the biggest mistake that you've made in going out on your own or, being in the business? What do you feel has been your biggest mistake?
I wish I'd set up like a work number, because or some sort of, I don't know the solution, but so I now have 2 numbers and I'm trying to transition one to be a work one to be a personal one, which is really actually quite difficult, because the amount of inquiry that I get is just out of control. And so that's my biggest thing. I'm I would either, I don't know, I would just set up a separate number from the beginning. So, if you want to give your clients your number, that's so fine. But then for tenant inquiries for listings, they can come through and you can at least see if it's on your mobile, which line is being called on, and try and have that kind of separation. That would be my biggest thing.
Okay, that's really good. And I'm going to give you a tip on what to do. Straight away, what you need to do once you get out of this podcast, recording, you need to strip your mobile off your website and put the new one on.
I
everywhere.
have, yeah.
Realestate.com.au, the whole lot. Now, what's really great, your personal number that you want to turn it into a personal, when you're doing a campaign next, use that number so it helps you identify if it's worked, or get another phone, get another number. You can have two phone numbers to the one phone.
That's what I've got. I've got two, so I can see who's calling what. And, I'm still ironing out the kinks on that, but I would just recommend that from the beginning, because once you do get like kind of 50, 60, 100 properties, the amount of inquiry you have like from properties that are like being listed online, like I don't mind like current clients and tenants and I don't mind inquiries ringing me, but when you have so many and I really want to be able to get back to them as fast as I can, sometimes I can't. So I just wish I had that separate number so I could kind of keep tabs on where things are coming from and the rest of it.
I mean,
it's a bit overwhelming.
When you first start business, call me. I'll answer the phone. I'm happy.
It's fine when you've got 20 properties.
Then you get to this stage of, okay, got 135 properties now. And you've got a team member on board as well. So congratulations as well.
Thank you.
It does change things, so well done on that. Look, failure, get up. It's how you react. It's what you do. That's what people are really watching. So it's really cool. And no doubt people are going to ask you, because I know there's a lot of people listening that can relate to that, right? Yeah. My phone is on so many websites, so many, but I'm okay. I love helping people. So anyone listening, I'm not too busy. I'm productive. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think I just learned like it's okay for me when I'm working on something to put my phone on do not disturb. And it's okay if I only want to return calls between 3 and 5, if that's what suits me. With, we've got lots of little kids in my house, 3, 4 and 5. And if I have them home, it's okay for me to just let the phone ring out and listen to the voicemails. And I think as long as I'm setting aside the time to make the calls back, like it's okay. I don't have to be immediately available all the time, because that's just not realistic for my life. And if that doesn't suit a client, then that's so okay. It's just a level of like service that they are not going to be able to get from me, and they're better suited to somebody else. So I think when I kind of like just was like, this is just my life. Like, and as long as I'm getting back to everybody within, the same day or the next morning, then that's okay. And that's just kind of what you get here. And it's the beauty of it being my business is I can make that call. It just means that some people will just be better suited to, a company that has an office with a receptionist that can answer the phone at all times.
I like that you can identify and you can accept if that client is suitable for your business or not, because it does control the culture of your company.
Yeah,
and you're on top of that.
Exactly. So, and like Gemma, who works for me, she has 3 boys, and we don't work like normal office hours. Like I work, all of the time, but Gem, she works from 9 till 3, and that's what suits her. And I will never expect her to work 9 till 5. That's just like, I want her to have a good home life balance and her to be able to pick her kids up from school, because that's what I want for myself. So of course I want that for my staff. And so as this business grows and evolves, the priority for me is that Gemma and myself and anyone else who works for me has like the life they want to live, because our lives are so short that like we need to make it work for us. And I think, and I hope that will give us like longevity in the business as well, and, not resent working.
I think you're going to get a lot of people asking for jobs with you, Kelly, after you might have people moving interstate. Now, you're part of the IGT mastermind. You're an IGT masterminder.
I am.
And as you know, we meet, so we set your video to watch, then we meet a few days later, we have a discussion around it. And it's amazing that we get, like-minded, growth-focused people coming together and sharing ideas. So the other day we were talking about social media and lead generation. And the next one I'm really excited about, because it's YouTube leads, how to generate leads through YouTube and stuff. So Mike and I are really pumped about that. Now, I'm going to put you in charge of a session, right? Let's say I put you in charge of a session, right, where we've got business owners from 3 countries, right, coming in together here, and they're meeting, and we're BDM, we're business owners, and we're hungry and we've got a lesson, what is Kelly going to teach them for the week?
You know what? I know exactly what I would teach them. I don't know where I got this from. It could have been like one of your podcasts, and I could have it a little bit wrong. But what I always tell everyone is getting it takes 12 exposures for a client to convert to business with you or to trust your branding. And so my theory is always, how can I get those 12 exposures as soon as possible? And that comes from diversity. So that is exactly what I would be teaching, because there's a lot of value in that. And then I could go through, all the ways that you can try and, diversify your approach to get yourself in front of them ASAP.
All I can say is, like, look out, because we actually might get you to do a session to our IGT masterminders on that. It's a great
I'm very passionate about that. I love when people ask me about it, because I'm like, yes, let me tell you.
And you do a really good job of it, and it shows in your branding, it shows in your new business, getting the full fees and stuff like that. So well done. Now, what's a lesson that you would teach yourself, knowing what you know now in real estate, knowing your knowledge? What would be one of the key things that you would say to yourself, whether you tap yourself on the shoulder, you go back in time and say, Kelly, this is what you got to do? What advice would you give yourself?
I think it's just like, again, setting those boundaries with yourself, about like, turn your email notifications off. Because if I think back, like the big anxieties and stresses for me throughout my career, staying up late, and, we all do it. We wake up at 2 a.m. and we need to send some emails because we're, dreading things. I think it's about just like ripping off the Band-Aid. And like, I've listened to this great book, and I think it's called, it's something about eating frogs. Have you heard of it? What is it called?
No.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do, but there's no fun in it if I say the name.
They've got to eat the biggest frog of the day.
Everyone's going to be Googling, what's that frog book called?
What is it? Eat That Frog? Is it? Let's have a look. Eat That Frog. There you go.
It is called Eat That Frog. It's a good book.
There you go. And I think that Alex actually got me onto it, I'm pretty sure. And so that's been good for me in property management or BDM or business owner or parent, whatever it is. Eating the biggest frog of the day first, honestly, will just like take your anxiety and stress away from you. And that's the things that are probably keeping you up at night. If you were to just like eat those frogs first thing, you wouldn't be up thinking about them at night. So I think just like getting the biggest thing done, read the book and you'll understand what about. Eat the frog, and then set boundaries with yourself. Turn your emails off. Don't answer calls, unless it's about something and it's an emergency. It's certain situations where you might have to, but set the boundaries with yourself, because you'll have much more respect for your job and your personal time, and you'll have time to kind of refuel and be better at your job and better serve your clients. So setting boundaries with yourself, it would be my number one thing if I think of my whole career.
Yeah, look, mental health wise, if we talk about that side of things with property management, and you being a business owner and a mum at the same time, that is so important to be able to switch off. So those boundaries are really good. You've got some really good boundaries set. You're very mindful of the type of client that you're going to attract. You've got amazing marketing. You're offering all types of marketing to attract the best quality tenant that you can, which also controls the culture of what tenants are bringing into your business as well, because obviously your staff, and you're going to grow, right? And you're going to get more staff. So that takes control. You're very acceptable to your staff with the hours. Well done. It's sound advice. Networking, building relationships, failure is not the end. You keep getting up, and you've done an amazing job of that. And Kelly, I've loved watching your journey. I feel like I've been like a big brother overseeing and being part of it.
And thank God for that.
Yeah, but we enjoy seeing you get up and fight.
Yeah.
Right, from a coach's point of view. So well done. And just before I close it out, when I first came across your profile, I messaged so many people saying, watch this space. Told Darren, told Michael, told Julie Collins. I messaged people and said, this girl's got her marketing right. I don't know what it is, and you weren't scared to do videos. I didn't know at the time it's because you were reading my book.
Yeah,
I didn't know at the time because you were listening to podcasts.
I
you
pulled
know.
my whole house apart this morning. Can I find any of my books from when I moved house? Absolutely not. Like not even just your ones, but all of them. And I literally have it and it's highlighted and it's got sticky tabs on it and I fold the edges and I went through and I just like did whatever ones resonated with me the most. And I really want to find it or like re-listen to it and go back through because I think even the Grow 100 podcast, that's what I did. I started my business and I was like, I'm going to grow 100. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. And I think you just take what resonates with you, but then you re-listen and you reread because what resonated with me then that I'm going to take something else from it now. So honestly, I was like, I can't afford training. I can't afford anything. Like, you know, I put the money that we had into establishing the branding and stuff, which I thought was the best start for us. But I utilized all those podcasts and the book, and it did. We grew 100. You just got to do it.
You've done a great job of it. And Kelly, thank you for being on board with us for the BDM Coach podcast show. My goal is getting you to our peak performance community. I know that you've loved our training, but we've got to get you into that next level. I've said the same to Shelby, and guess what? Every single guest I'm getting on the PM Mastermind, my job is to show them it's great your growth that you're going, but we're going to put more accountability onto you. We're going to put more support into you because we love seeing the results that you're getting, you know. So thank you so much for being on board with this. Now, how can people contact you? What's the best way for them to reach out to you? Social media, phone, email?
Yeah. So I think the two social platforms that I use the most are LinkedIn, which you can find me on Kelly Smyth. I try and connect with as many people that have been on your podcast as possible. So you'll definitely find me there, or Hunter Valley Property Manager on Instagram. We're everywhere. I'm not overwhelmed by having all of the platforms. So I do have them all. You'll find me everywhere. Hunter Property Management or Hunter Valley Property Manager.
Awesome. And everyone, this video will be put into the IGT inner circle for everyone to listen to. It's obviously going to be on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. So you'll see her spelling when I tag her on Facebook.
Like Smyth, but with a Y instead of an I.
I know. And even I get confused. I'm like, Kelly who? Kelly Smyth? Kelly Smith?
Yeah. What's her last name? It's a bit confusing.
Kelly, it's a pleasure. I love your passion. I think it's awesome. You are a true testament to the industry and you're an encouragement to other property managers that want to get out there on their own. So thank you for being part of the BDM podcast with me.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Bye.